Mark.
Hey travelers, welcome back to Roberto's Room. A little bit of a different kind of video. I know you're used to seeing me when I do an intro to these videos. Alas, we have some big news coming up. I'm not going to share it in this video because we have a lot to talk about in regards to a brand new series that is just such a chef's kiss. So I will leave you in suspense for a little while, but something big is happening in Roberto's Room. I can't wait to share it with y'all, so please stay tuned for that. But now, without further ado, let's talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So Night of the Seven Kingdoms is HBO's new show in the world of Westeros. Of course, we've had now, this is the third show set in the world of Westeros. Game of Thrones, of course, being the first one, which was a great show up until about season 7 and went out with a whimper, and which also is ongoing at this point in time, House of the Dragon, which has been good. I think it started off on a really good foot, but the second season, nothing has really happened. And so when they announced that a new show was coming out based on the Tales of Dunk and Egg, I thought, okay, this could be interesting. I don't really know much. I'm not much of a reader when it comes to Game of Thrones, or really at all if you ask my wife. But I did want to check it out because it seemed really, really interesting. And now, looking back on 6 phenomenal episodes, I cannot sing the praises of this series enough, and that's exactly why I didn't want to delay in making this video, because we need to talk about how incredible this series is. Honestly, I could put this series back in my fall favorites because it gives me the same feel of a lot of those movies, and I think it's because when it started, episode 1 really harkened back to a movie that I love a lot with the late and great Heath Ledger, A Knight's Tale, which is kind of funny because Mark Addy, who plays Robert Baratheon, is linked to Game of Thrones, so kind of an interesting connection. But it really felt like this really homey series based on Sir Duncan the Tall and his adventures. He's really the main character that we are following, played by Peter Claffey in, I believe, his very first role. And of course, Egg, played by Dexter Soul Ansel, who, and I'm not going to spoil anything in this review, I hope that you've seen it already, but for those of y'all that haven't, consider this my glowing recommendation to go and see this absolutely blind to anything going on in this show, because you deserve that for yourself. This show, like I said, it starts off, it gives you just a really awesome vibe. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of A Knight's Tale, of course, without the "We Will Rock You" in there. But this show, to me, felt really homey, and it really draws you in, which they did a really masterful job from the outset of the show to really draw you in, and I was instantly hooked into this world, kind of a more on the ground level Game of Thrones world, but it's still set in Westeros with, of course, some of the familiar things that you're going to see, like the houses. We get to meet a lot of characters from the different houses, and of course, the ruling house, House Targaryen. Again, this show starts off really, really awesome, following this hedge knight, Duncan, and he stumbles into an inn after his master dies, and he meets Egg, and him and Egg form this incredible bond. Dexter Soul Ansel is so ahead of his time, and it's so mature for his age. The acting that this young man does in this show, and the emotion and just the little nuances in just his eyes that you can tell exactly what he's thinking, it's just incredible. One of the strengths of this show is that this show gives you a lot of great surrounding characters. Of course, the Targaryens, and we see kind of a different side of House Targaryen. They don't have the dragons anymore at this point in time in Westeros. And so it seems a little bit different than the Targaryens that we're used to seeing. But alas, we see some princes that are coming into Ashford Town for a tournament. And of course, Duncan wants to participate in the tournament. And that's basically what the show revolves around. Again, this show does something really well other than the Targaryens, which is brings in really likable characters. Daniel Ings plays an incredible take on the Laughing Storm, Lionel Baratheon, that even George R.R. Martin said was better than his book interpretation, which goes a long way. Bertie Carvel is another standout performance as Baelor Targaryen. He is just oozing this great king spirit. He's not the king, he is the next in line for the throne. And so many other characters. Sean Thomas plays Raymond Fossaway. That Raymond Fossaway, if I can just stop for just a moment, he is the MVP of this show. If you watch the show, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but he wins the most out of this. And the whole show centers on this incident that happened between Dunk and one of the crown princes, played by Finn Bennett, Aerion Targaryen, and a duel that takes place, not a regular trial by combat duel, but a trial of 7, in which 7 knights must fight another 7 knights on either side of this trial by combat. And what results, and again, I'm not spoiling one single thing, probably the best episode of TV and the best 30-minute of probably any show that I have ever seen. It is brutal. Of course, you're leading up to this fight, and if you've been on YouTube probably this week, you've seen a lot of different takes on this fight and different commentaries. But again, I don't want to spoil you. My job is to just, in this case, encourage you to go and watch it, because it is amazing. The dueling in this show, the choreography, the camera work is exceptional. Everything, again, hinges on this fight, and it does not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Again, we are in Game of Thrones, so I would recommend not getting attached to anyone on this show, because if you've seen anything related to Game of Thrones, everyone and anyone is expendable at any time. And that is what this show brings back. I think that it had lost in the later seasons of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, where you don't really get that peril. Here, even though this is a smaller stakes kind of a show, it really does deliver on, you don't know how this is going to end up. And of course, if you haven't read the books, of course, you don't really know at all. But it is just incredible. Like I said, all of the performances on this show, just, I cannot sing praises of this show enough, other than to say, if you don't have HBO Max, get it for at least a month. All of the episodes are currently on HBO Max. Watch it. If you want to watch it on a single go round, that's fine. I watched it once a week as they were coming out, and I've honestly, since they've come out, I've probably watched the episodes about 3 times, because it is that good, and I cannot recommend it enough. Have you seen Night of the Seven Kingdoms? If you have, drop a comment down below. I would love to hear what you thought about the show. Again, I absolutely loved it. I think it was an incredible piece of television. I cannot wait for next season, which is dropping next year. I can't believe that they're actually getting us back to a season-a-year television show. And Night of the Seven Kingdoms is definitely one that I am looking forward to, because it just did exactly what you would want from a show like this, and I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you so much for joining me on this review, travelers. Again, go and see this. It is available now, and it will not disappoint. Before you go, if you would, my puppies and I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again for watching this review, travelers, and as always, go with grace.
And the no true knight among you